if you're looking for a short, quick, action-filled video, this is not going to be the one. This is more for people who are interested in rebuilding these particular carbs, and it's going to be what's on the inside. This is a Johnson QD-14 1953 that I just picked up. Well, actually my father-in-law gave it to me to see if I could get it going. There's tons of videos on these guys particularly. Usually they start at the 54s. They're a lot more common. This one has a larger intake manifold there. The specific carb for this year, they switched over at the 54 year. A lot of the electronicals at the top here is the same. First thing I did was try to get spark. Well, it was actually seized, so I rested it on its front here for a week with ATF and acetone in the cylinder blocks. Got new plugs, tested the wires. They're all good. All I did, honestly, was just clean the points, and I got spark right away. It's not necessarily timed. There's tons of videos on how to get this thing timed properly. I'm not going to get too far into that. I'm just going to go into the carb details. I've taken, this is actually the first year with the throttle arm. Here we go. You can see the mechanism there when I spin the throttle. So I've taken mostly this all apart. There was a little washer in here, a little spacer that I had to do to get those teeth to engage. There's another video on a guy adjusting that as well. I think it's Brandon's garage or this old outboard. The guy's pretty cool actually. Ripped all these pieces out, cleaned them in Varsol, got the shroud cleaned up, or the shroud holder. So we got spark. Next thing I did was get some fuel, tried to blow her up, and no success. I just posted a video on taking apart the bottom half of the carb. There was two stubborn bolts in there, or fittings that I couldn't get out. Anyways, it spins, it's free. So this video I'm going to strip down this upper portion of the carb. Here's the bottom bowl. Like I said, there was two stubborn bolts or fittings, one in there and the bottom one. Looks like they used red Loctite on that. This one was pretty easy to take apart. Here's the bowl of the carb. This pin goes in here. That will hold the float up, and then the needle goes through there. This guy was hard to get out. He caps off that, and then this bolt is on the bottom. It's got a little tiny washer there, and the spring plunger will only fit one way to prime it, so that goes that way. There's the 6 bolts to put the carb body on. This main bolt fits on top. Here you can see what the carb looks like, so it's a matter of taking all these bolts out. You got to apply a little bit of heat to it. Once you take this guy off, keep track of all the little washers and stuff. That exposes this. Save this float arm here. We're going to reuse this float arm. We're going to attach this to the new float. Like I said, I keep all the bits in here and then I'll wash them separately. Anyways, set that to the side. This is the inlet plate. You'll see it's pretty crusty. And there's a bunch of shmew right there. I'm going to get the tripod hooked up, and I'll start by taking this apart. 3/8. Love these old mills. They're all Imperial. I'm just going to keep in mind here the placement of these two. It just looks like they're centered over the holes. Oh shit, that was close. Little lock washer behind there. Nothing between A and B. Dirtier than a pig in shit. This assembly, I was actually going to order a new one of these. I think I can clean this up. There's a lot of gritty stuff in here, so that's what I'm looking to eliminate. There's the lock washer. This is a check valve. I'm pretty sure it's going to be irrelevant because this is for the pressurized fuel tank. I will be updating this to single line vacuum. Looks like I'm going to be able to clean this plate up pretty easily. So put that to the side, and then just this check valve here. I'll do what I can to clean that up. There's a little tiny brass. Oh shit, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Don't lose that. Cleaned up my workspace a little bit right here. I want to get rid of this dangly bit here. I think I'm going to leave it as an assembly. So I'm going to start by removing these 4 screws. It isn't sitting flat. There we go. You got to use the old screwdrivers for these old girls because the screwdriver fits perfectly in there. And I didn't want to retain or pull out that snap ring because it's very, see, this is, I might be able to unscrew this. I can hardly move that. If I take that snap ring out, that spring's going to shoot right off. I do kind of want to try and remove the pressure, but how do I stop that? Danger! Safety glasses. This needle valve should unscrew. Oh, she is jammed. As soon as you just feel that get loose, it's like a huge sigh of relief. Holy smokes. I think someone screwed that in too tight, to be quite honest with you. Oh. Question is, do you need a new one? I don't think so. There's a little tiny washer on there, and just for funsies, now I can remove that snap ring. That makes things easier. I want to take a good look at this O-ring behind here because when I was looking up the parts manual, it says they must have used common parts between carburetor and I think it's on the lower end because it's an O-ring for bottom end. So this is just more for my. As soon as you take this apart, this will come out. Now I can clean that, and I'm gonna keep this linkage together as long as that homemade cotter pin is good. And oh, and there's also a little pin right there, but it looks like it's stuck in there. So I'll clean that separately in Varsol. Wow, it is a pretty big O-ring. It's a bigger flathead here. Oh. Remember which way that goes on there. That's being pressed by the primer applicator. Okay, so looking at the actual throttle mechanism here, I got some tension from the spring. It looks like there's a flat in there for this lock screw. I don't know if I have to take that apart, but I kind of want to clean it easier. See that Welch plug there? I can't get at that, and I don't know how to clean in there. You might not be able to see, but inside there's two little holes on the top of the carb. Well, when the gas goes through there, they come out of those little holes, and the Welch plug is for machining those holes from the top end. So, well, I'm not going to take it out for now. So this is going to, I know it's going to need adjusting, so when I'm throttle wide open and I'm relatively up here. This is more for me when I put this back together. Because as soon as I adjust this screw, I'm going to lose my position. I also want to take out this, so I need to do this. There's a plug way up in there too. I'm going to see if I can get that too. Need a thinner screwdriver. Oh! It's coming out. Grandpa Walt screwdriver to the rescue. There's two little holes in there. I'm assuming I gotta make sure those are clean. A little bit here, a little bit here. Oh shit. Well, it gives me enough room to get that venturi thing out of there, but I cannot pull this anymore. What is it hitting? Okay, making progress. This little tiny spring behind there. How am I going to remember how this goes back together? Oh. I think I'm going to keep that together like that. Battery died there. All I did was take out the venturi assembly out of here. I was able to pull this apart as best as I could. I'm going to leave the Welch plug in there. But yeah, I just pulled that venturi. I think it was a 5/8. I had some leftover carb cleaner that I got at a yard sale or something free, so this is the top half of the carb. I've separated between top and bottom. So this is the top half. This is the bottom half. It's soaking in Varsol. These are mostly metal parts. Come on, get out of there. And then I got the leaf plate in there. This is the bottom half. I got the brass plugs and like carb cleaner. This guy's coming out. Okay. So he's going to go into some pine sol and water for the night. You know what? I'm going to put... This is the before. So he's going to go into pine sol and water for the night, and so is this guy. And then that way tomorrow with water, all I have to do is wash this guy. These other guys I'll just clean and dry off.